for the people that don't know, you guys did Dave Ramsey for a little bit. You guys cleared roughly about $40,000 in debt. I mean, $40,000 worth of debt, which is phenomenal. I I need the recipe. I need the discipline because I can't do it. I haven't paid a loan yet from school. You know what I'm saying? They start back up. They start back. They start back up in May. I'm trying to get rich first, so I can just do a lump payment. You know what I'm saying? If I could do a lump payment, get it out the way, I'm like, okay, cool. We
Some
good.
pimping, man.
This the coldest podcast you'll ever hear. The way we coming with it, people witnessing greatness. Be a part of the journey. I would say it's perfect timing, but it's God's timing. We locked in a time capsule with this one. We got timeless topics. Guess what? I'm your mother's favorite host. Your little brother's OG. I go by the name of Armand Lindsay. But the neighborhood call me Big P. I want to welcome y'all to Big Boss Talk, Season 2, The Rebirth. Let's ride. And welcome to a Black Man Thing.
Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Listen, we back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. This podcast is going to be the guest I got on here. They have achieved some phenomenal stuff, right? Right now, we got one individual. The next individual be coming in shortly, but they have. I look up to these people. They have achieved some lifetime goals that people only think about. And it takes them a long time to obtain, but they've shown so much discipline, so much just I guess tenacity, and just trying to figure this thing out and just really going with the flow. But the guest I got on here is my first and only college roommate. 4 years strong, living in a dorm with this guy. I mean, we got some great memories, great stories. We witnessed a lot. We've been there with with each other through everything. It's crazy, man. We kind of just like. I mean, it's crazy. Like this is my brother. Yeah, like we grew up together. Like this is my brother, man. Like I done almost got in fights with this dude. Like about to fight people with this dude. Like, and he'll tell you like I'm more the like he's a shit talker now, but I'm more the like he's an enforcer too. But I'm more of like, all right, let's get it popping right now. If that's what you want to do. So it's like yeah. Yeah, so it is what it is, but we gonna, I ride for him and his family, no matter what, just because, we just got that tight bond and we, like he said, we really grew up together. But my guest is no other than Micheal Thomas. What's up, Mike?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, man.
Man, we appreciate you for being on here, my brother.
Hey, man, you're doing some good stuff over here.
Hey, man, we trying to, just keep the bar moving, setting new levels of success and just showing different avenues of success. Everybody's success doesn't have to look the same, and success doesn't always mean monetary either. So it's certain things where you be like, I'm successful, in my marriage. That's something to really, high praise about. You know what I'm saying? Some people take, monetary value of success, but we all just trying to be successful, man. I'm a huge cheerleader for you. I'm pretty sure I know you're a huge cheerleader for me, and the biggest thing is just all successful. But I will tell everybody on this podcast, you see this 49ers hat, this guy is not a 49ers fan.
I'm not.
Who you like?
I'm a Giants fan.
Oh my God. Please.
So, this story, my uncle.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell them the story.
My uncle, massive 49er fan. And when they won, I don't remember who they beat. At the end of the regular season, they beat whoever, and they made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He put in a family group message, who wants to go to the 49er game? And they played he lives in Waco, Texas, and they were playing Dallas, and it's about an hour and a half away. And I'm like, I'll go. I'm like, that's nothing but a flight, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't think I'd actually go. So I ended up going. I had a great time. He gave me this hat. And I'm going to their game this weekend, so I've been wearing the hat all week.
Bro, this guy right here is That one of the, I don't know. I just always find him doing some of the craziest stuff, like, and with like tickets to this, what was it, a wild card game?
Yeah.
It was a wild card game. Now you get going to a playoff game. Like most people just dream about that type, not dream, but most people be like, man, I really want to go. But you actually get the opportunity to go to two of them in a single season. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's cool going to. This is my fourth game this year. I went to a game in New York and I went to a Panther game.
yeah,
It's just cool. Like growing up, like it seemed like it was only for rich people, really.
yeah.
Football, like a football game. Like I went to a couple of Gamecock games growing up, but like this is my fourth game this year. Yeah, it just seemed like something I could never do. And now that I'm in a position I can do it, I'm like, I want to go every week to a game.
Exactly. He like, I will go every week to a game. So listen, guys, if you already haven't picked up on the clues, this man has a lot of time on his hands. He's just kind of chilling. But I'm gonna give everybody the backstory, right? So this is Micheal Thomas, 26 years old. First of all, he went to North Greenville University, graduated with a health science degree. Have you used that health science degree at all?
I was a PE teacher in middle school for a month. That's getting close to using it, but that's it.
Bro, tell people I'm telling you, bro, like when I hear you talk and the things that you're able to do, like how you got from point A to point B, I'm like, bro, like there's really no perfect way to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it's really been kind of crazy, really, to sit back and think about how I've gotten here. And it's still like I'm nowhere. Like I still want to go so much farther than I'm at. But even to get where I'm at now has just been crazy.
Yeah, tell people like your kind of career, your a resume, if you will, like what you did starting fresh out of college, or tell people what was your dream or what you wanted to do when you wanted to graduate college, right? And then tell people like what you actually done up until now.
All right, so graduate college 2017. That following semester, I really had no plans, nothing. And my strength coach back in North Greenville, Coach Bernardi, hit me up. He's like, "Yeah, you want to come be my GA?" My GA just left. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come do it, right?" Because that's kind of something I want to do with strength coach, and I love being in the weight room and lifting weights. Okay. I get out there to do it. Man, I was working 60, 65 hours a week, and the only thing I had a place to stay on campus and 14 meals a week. No, 8 meals a week.
Oh my God.
And that's it. I mean, I was working on the weekends as a valet at the Greenville airport, just trying to just have spending money, gas money, food money.
Just to find no ends meet.
I mean, I worked every day for like 3 months. And I'm like, after that semester, it was really before that semester I made up my mind. I stopped doing my schoolwork. I'm like, I'm done with school. Like the schoolwork was awful. I hated doing it. So for people that didn't pick up, so you were a GA, a graduate assistant, for Coach Bernardi, right? To obtain your master's degree. Yeah, and I was gonna get an education. Yeah.
Right, but you didn't. But you said after the semester, you was like, bump it.
Yeah, probably about a month into like doing classwork, I'm like, hey, I really didn't have time. Like I was working like 80 hours a week. I didn't have time literally to do the work. And then I was like, I can't see myself doing this for another year and a half to get my degree.
Yeah.
So I knew I was done before I told them I was done. And I had no plans at all of what I was going to do next.
That's crazy.
And yes, and I was hanging out with our friends Robbie and Randy up at their house, and Byron was there. You remember Byron?
Yeah, I know Byron. Yep.
He was like, I was just telling him I don't know what I'm about to do, and Byron, he was working at Waffle House. He sat down and got real serious, like, yo, look, like you come work at Waffle House, it's hard, but you can make good money.
Yeah.
I'm like, sounds good to me. Whatever, let's do it.
Let me stop you. That's another thing, right? So most people, when you think about Waffle House, you just think about the people that's in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think like and like for me, like if somebody was to present me with an opportunity, like, hey, you want to come to Waffle House, I probably would have been like, nah, let me see if I can find something different, right? But at this point, you were just like, I need something.
Yeah, because I think this was, I had like maybe a couple weeks left until the semester was over. Then I was going to get the boot from the dorm.
Right.
So it was either I'm going to figure something, I didn't want to go back home.
Right.
You know, live with my mom. So it was either I got to figure something out, and I couldn't find anything. And he hit me with that opportunity, and I was like, let's do it, really. Yeah. And I was shocked, like you can make that much money at Waffle House?
How much money can you make at Waffle House?
It blew my mind, really. So yeah, I did that. I worked at Waffle House. I guess I did it for like a year and a half. Then I quit.
Yeah.
Moved up here where my wife lives. We weren't married yet, but I moved up here. And I got a job at the middle school teaching. That's right. I came at the very end of the year, taught for a month, and like I intended to go back, but like the summer went on, and I got a job at a college working in the kitchen because I love to cook. So I got a job working up in the kitchen. I was like, and it reminded me so much of Waffle House. I was like, man, I just want to go back and work back at Waffle House.
Yeah.
I'd be done with the teaching. I wasn't making no money teaching, you know that.
Yeah.
So I texted, the high up managers. I'm like, I'm trying to come back, but up here, they sat down with me and let me come back. Mm-hmm. And I guess I was back at Waffle House for about a little over a year, I'd say, almost a year and a half. I was back at Waffle House.
Gotcha. How was your time at Waffle House? And first of all, how much money could you make? And then how was the time at Waffle? Because I know we've talked a couple of times, and you was just like, I mean, it was cool because you was making the money, right? But then it was like, dang, I'm working all the holidays, and like, if somebody calls out, I got to go in and report, right? So the money was good. I think this is a very important lesson as far as like all money probably ain't good money, right? So, and especially for you were that later half, you were married. You probably wanted to spend time with your wife, travel a little bit more, but the job was kind of hindering you from be able to do that just because we all know Waffle House is open 24/7 pretty much. So, what's the pay scale for people? Because people don't understand. People still that's listening, they like, you can make how much? And you know what I'm saying? And they just thinking about you a cook, you're a server. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
So kind of how it works is, so when you're a manager at Waffle House, which is what I was, you're really a cook. You're a manager that cooks. You're a productive manager.
Okay.
So I cooked every day when I worked. You worked 6 days in a row, had 2 days off, worked every holiday, Christmas, New Year's, all the holidays, you worked them. So, and if someone called out on third shift and you couldn't find someone to work, you were in working. I mean, I worked on like a good, like about the minimum amount of hours you'd work in a week is about 50 to 55. And like on the high end could be, if it was a bad week, probably up to 80.
Golly.
But they do pay you pretty good. You start off, they advertise starting off at 45, like when you first get in, like you make 45. Like when things are going good and your store is running well, at times I made up to 65.
Right.
That's as high as I ever went.
Gotcha.
And but 65 as a 23-year-old fresh out of college, man. Decent. When I never had money in my life, I tell you, I was decent with money, but I blew a lot of money. You did
blow a lot of money.
I did. And like looking back, I was like, I should have started an IRA, done something. But I mean,
it is, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you just like it, I just learned from it. Just moved on and learned from it.
Dang, that's
crazy. Yeah. So it's Waffle House it's not a bad job if you don't have kids or if you don't know what to do. Really.
Got you. So you did Waffle House, let's just say, for 3 years, off and on. And what was after? What did you and in between the two Waffle House gigs, you were a PE teacher, right?
Yeah, PE taught PE for like a month.
Got you. And then after the second round of Waffle House, then where did you go?
Yeah, so I quit Waffle House the second time, about Christmas time last year, and then I worked there's a factory where I live in Marion.
Mm-hmm.
Marion, North Carolina. There's a factory called Baxter, make IV bags. I worked up there because I have a friend who works up there. He's pretty high up. He's like, "Yeah, you come here, you work like a bottom job, and we'll get you up to supervisor." Because I have supervisor experience and a 4-year degree. He said, "Easy, you'll easily get a supervisor job. You got to work 6 months, then you can get it."
Gotcha.
So I did that, and it was on month 9, and I couldn't get an email back, call back, nothing. And I'm like, I'm done with this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like I was working a freaking physical labor. Like, I was beating my body up.
Warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse job. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, so I ended up leaving that. But that was right around the time.
Don't let Hannah distract you, bro.
Yeah, she just got here. That was right around the time me and Ham started our AirBNB business. So
Got you.
well, starting that business allowed me to step back from that job and see what else was out there,
right,
and see what else I could do. So, my wife Hannah just got here. She'll be joining us.
Hannah, what's up?
Hey,
How are you?
good. How are you?
Good. So Mike was telling us his kind of like his story, right? Because I always think about this and just like, you know how people when they, obviously when you go to college and you graduate, you want to have a kind of an idea of what you want to do, right? And I feel like Mike, to me, is a perfect example of going until you figure something, till you figure things out, right? And I think we should stop going into college and then, graduating college with this notion of I'm gonna have my life figured out, because really you're super young. You graduate college at 21, 22 maybe. I know some super seniors out there that graduated at 23, but but still, you're still super young, and we were going through his jobs and stuff like that. So I guess what I want to do, I'm gonna ask this question, then we'll segue into the Airbnb and then talk about a little bit of the Dave Ramsey thing. But what would you tell your kids? What can we tell kids going into college? Like, how do we help kids figure out what they actually want to do? You know what I'm saying? Without so much trial and error. And I think, you have to do trial and error to really figure out what you like, because as you're growing, you start to figure out like, well, I'm more of a structured person, or I'm not that structured, or I can be more responsible with my time, or I know I need to have something that I need to be done every single hour on the hour, like somebody telling me what to do. What would you tell, even for kids watching, what would you tell them on how they can, figure out what they want to do with their life? Like, what advice you got?
Yeah, I would for sure just give the advice of knowing your values, your personal values. My personal experience is my degree has nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but my degree aligns with my values, and my job also aligns with the same values. So, like, no, I'm not. My major was intercultural studies, and I wanted to be a full-time missionary, and I'm not doing that. But social work has a lot of the same traits and qualities that I would use in that, and that I learned in school.
Gotcha. So you have a degree. Hannah's more on the alignment piece, right? So alignment with values of what you believe, as far as serving, looking out for people, or really, I think what you do is really beneficial as far as like helping the youth. I know you have some unique stories of situations where you see kids in very messed up situations, and you guys have a program or process in place that is able to help them, or at least provide some form of little bit of relief, right? And that probably feels great to you as a person, to know that what you're doing is helping someone, right? And so I think that's awesome, awesome point that you make as far as like alignment of your values. And so then, Mike, what would be your advice?
Well, I was really on the opposite side. I just kind of found jobs that I didn't like,
right,
and then found parts of jobs that I did like,
right,
and try to figure out like this didn't work for me, I'm not gonna do it again. this didn't work for me. I'm not gonna do it again. But I like this, so let me try to figure that out.
Right.
And that's how I've kind of gotten to where I'm at now, I guess.
Gotcha.
And I'll also give the advice. We both played sports in college, and like essentially, if you play a D2 sport, you're going to school for that sport, and that's essentially the first thing on your mind. And so, I would give the advice of getting a degree that's pretty general. So when you go for a job, you have a 4-year degree, but it can be like flexible. Gotcha. Michael's major really hinders him, and mine does too. But thankfully, social work, they need anyone with a 4-year degree, so it works.
Gotcha.
So maybe like have a more general major that you can go a lot of different directions with.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So I mean, and there's some people on the opposite side of that spectrum that feel like athletes always take these basic, generic degrees, right? We all were athletes, and like what is somebody? We know this guy doesn't need what's a generic? What everybody used to do in
take sports management.
Sports management, right? So like, come on, the sports management.
See, that hinders people,
right?
Yeah.
So what's a generic degree that you can get without really saying like, this is what I want to do? Like,
I would say business.
Business, okay. Mass communications, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
Like mass communications, maybe.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just a probably a degree that you can go multiple directions. Like a business, you could go to be a teacher. You could go to get a master's in education, teach business, or go get a accounting master's degree, be an accountant, just stuff like that.
Okay. Gotcha. So cool. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, we just trying to solve a master problem, right? Everybody I sit down with is they're like, I got this degree, I ain't doing nothing with the degree. But a lot of people are spending money to get a degree. Like we know a degree in these day and age, I would say it's a little bit different now. Back then, right? The degree was the ticket to get into certain offices or certain, arenas, right? The degree was your ticket. And then once you got the ticket, you got to prove yourself within the arena. Now people are, doing their own thing. They're starting to create money in so many different ways. Social media has really changed the game. So it's hard to give that same advice that doesn't apply to this to this generation. So it'll be a little bit different and a little bit tricky, but I just think it's crazy that, we do go to school and say like, well, this is what I want to do, but we never really went to go see what that person actually does. And so we don't know the icky parts about the job. We don't know the grunt work behind the job. And it's like, if we don't know that, we can't really make a really full decision on what we want to do. So we just wasted 4 years, almost $60,000 to $100,000 on something that we was like, dang, I don't even want to do this no more.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened to me. I mean, at North Greenville, our internship was at the end of your junior year or beginning of senior year, and I hated it. And I'm like, well, it's too late now.
Yeah. So that's crazy because it's like you if anything, they should move the internship in the beginning, right? Versus all the generic stuff. To me, sometimes I feel like, and I ain't trying to sound crazy, but I feel like school is more of a game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really set up for us to win long term sometimes, especially if you're not focused on like, okay, if you're not going to school to be a doctor, lawyer, any type of profession like that, right? I feel like going to school could be a waste of time because you really have no idea.
And when we're in college making our lifelong career decision, we can't have illegal beer and we can't rent a car.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. So, and that's why the podcast, for me, I feel like it's important, right? I kind of sat down and I was like, who is my podcast really for, right? I know it's a wide range of people, but I really feel like I made it for people like myself, like not really, kind of going along in life, just kind of floating around, right? And I'm not saying floating around as like, I don't have anything going, but it's like, I know I have a deeper purpose than working where I'm working. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's hard for me to make the decision to change routes if I don't know what's out there. So then when I get in front of people that are in certain different fields, I can be like, okay, I like what they do, or I don't like what they, you know what I'm saying? And I can make a decision, and it'll help people, younger growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, watch some of these people and figure out like, oh, well, they said they didn't like this, right? And it's not to tear people away from their dreams. It's just you need to know what you're getting into, because if you're not willing to put in the work for it, then you pretty much waste your time, your money, and everything wrapped together. But we're going to move this conversation forward, and we're going to talk about you guys. Like I said, you guys have done some amazing things. Number one, for the people that don't know, you guys did Dave Ramsey for a little bit. You guys cleared roughly about $40,000 in debt. I mean, $40,000 worth of debt, which is phenomenal. I need the recipe. I need the discipline because I can't do it. I haven't paid a loan yet from school. You know what I'm saying? They start back up. They start back up in May. I'm trying to get rich first so I can just do a lump payment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If I could do a lump payment, get it out the way, I'm like, okay, cool, we good. But $40,000, which is huge, and then you guys have an Airbnb business that I don't even think you guys knew how successful it would be. I don't think you knew how much time it would give you, but you guys are like kind of. I know Mike for sure. I know Hannah still kind of works, full time, but living the dream of just having time and can do whatever you want. So what I want to do is I want to break it down into two pieces. I want to talk about the Airbnb, and then I want to talk about Dave Ramsey. So with the Airbnb business, how did you guys even get into that? Who came up with the idea?
Well, we tossed around Airbnb and renting our house out when we, like a shared space when we first got married, but we're like, we want to enjoy the first year of marriage, and like having someone renting our house, might put a damper on that.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to know each other.
Yeah. Because it's just us. It was just us two.
Got you.
And we have a 3-bedroom house. Our bedroom's downstairs. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs and a whole bathroom.
Yeah.
So we were like, that's something we could do.
And we really value like getting out of debt. And so we were going to offer one of our friends who is in a lot of debt to stay at our house like a lower rate. Yeah. But he turned us down, and we were kind of like, that sucks. And then and then Michael's like, hey, let's Airbnb our house. And I'm like, let's go. So my parents, thankfully, they live 20 minutes away, and we asked if we could stay at their house if it worked out, and Dad thought we were completely stupid and it wasn't going to work out. But the next day, Michael got on Airbnb and started putting our house up.
Yeah, making the account.
Like we're both very chill people, and so
very much.
It wasn't a big deal. Like we talked about it on Tuesday night, and we started working on it on Wednesday.
Oh my God! I mean, but
we really didn't think it was going to be successful. Like we live in Marion, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes from Asheville.
Yeah.
A little town, like little town.
Our goal, we have a big festival here. We know them for Bigfoot. Someone apparently spotted Bigfoot here. And we have a whole it was actually Michael.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. So there's a big festival here. And a realtor in our church was like, if you don't do anything, do it for Bigfoot Festival, because you could go 400 a night. Those people, they come from all across the U.S. to this festival. So we worked really hard to get it ready for Bigfoot Festival.
We had like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we had 2 weeks, and it got postponed because of COVID. And so we were like, we'll just keep our house up. It won't get booked, but.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe every other weekend someone would book.
Yeah.
And so in October.
This is the end of September. We put it on.
September of 2020 or 2021?
2021.
Okay, 2021. So after the pandemic.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, after the
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we put it on the last 2 weeks of September. And those got booked. Just the weekends, like the Friday, Saturday, I think. And we were like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, October completely booked up. Like
every weekend.
We only had 4 nights in our house.
Yeah, there was 4 nights that it wasn't booked up.
Time out. So y'all were booked up every day in October except for 4 days.
Except for 4.
Yeah, which is, we live in the mountains, so it was peak week for leaves. Okay. Or peak month.
Yeah.
So that really helped us.
Got you.
October was definitely our busiest month, but it was our first month, so we were just like.
We were taken aback. Like, we were shocked. Like, this is actually gonna work. Like we'll make money doing this.
Yeah. How much did y'all, if you don't mind me asking, closely, how much did you make in October? You don't gotta give an exact number, but just close. For
So
being
we made the total money we brought in is about a little over $4,000
for that month.
For that month, yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at $4,000 a month. You book the house every day except for 4 days. So I mean that's you keep that up. That's almost $60,000 a year. Just by renting out your home, right? Which is something that most people want to acquire, right? Some type of passive income. Your situation is a little bit different because you had your family, right up the street, and just like, hey, if we do this, can we live with y'all, right? Because some people, like, if they have your house, it's kind of comes into play, like, where would we stay? You know what I'm saying? Or if they felt comfortable enough where, okay, we got the bottom half, y'all got the top half, and that can work out, but it all, I guess you can say, it all plays to like your personal preferences or what you want, what you want.
Stuff like that will really come down to like if you're comfortable with a stranger sleeping upstairs. And for us, we really only have one way in and out of our house, the front door.
Mm-hmm.
The back door, we have a deck back there, but there's no way to the ground.
Gotcha.
So on the second floor, kinda.
Yeah.
So it'd be only coming to the front door. We probably would have done it if we could come up with a way to go straight upstairs, to put a door upstairs somewhere.
Yeah, we would put another door upstairs so they wouldn't even have to see us.
Yeah.
Got it. But
that's an option if your house is equipped for something like that, and ours just isn't.
Got you. Okay. Cool. So
we decided we'll just Airbnb our whole house except for our bedroom, which we lock. So people don't sleep in our bed and stuff.
That's crazy.
So we locked that door up, and yeah, that's what we decided on.
So what's the process like for, if let's just say I got a house, which I don't have a house yet, but I have a house, I want to put it on Airbnb. What was that process like with Airbnb? Like what all do you have to give them? What's the criteria for doing that?
So it's actually pretty easy. One of her good friends is a professional photographer, and she came in, we cleaned our house real good, put everything up, made it look like no one lived here, that it was just an Airbnb.
Gotcha.
They took pictures of the whole thing. That was kind of step one.
Good pictures are key.
Yeah, with good lighting.
And you want to simplify your home.
Gotcha.
Because people want that stay, they value cleanliness. And you have clutter, it doesn't look clean.
Yeah, so our house went from looking like we lived here, which we did, to looking like nobody lived here. Like we spent like a couple of days just picking up, cleaning up.
Just clean.
Like we cleaned everything. Like I never cleaned so much in my life to get ready for this. But yeah, so we took the pictures, and then I started working on our profile, like the Airbnb. It's like another side of Airbnb. It's Airbnb hosting in the Airbnb app.
Yeah.
And you just go on there, and it says like list a house, and you just like put your address in, and then it's got space in there for you to upload pictures, and then you describe the house. Just different stuff like that. The rooms, the bedrooms, what your house offers, like we have a fire pit out back.
Like the amenities of the house?
Yeah, like if you had a hot tub.
Okay.
We don't have a hot tub. If you had a hot tub, you could put that on there.
Or like washer and dryer, stuff like that.
Yeah, just like a blender.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Do they care? Do people care about that? Like, I mean,
there's a super long list. You just go through and say, no, I don't have that. Yes, I have that. Like, no.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy though. I mean, it probably took me, I'd say probably an hour to get. The hardest part was getting the pictures uploaded.
Gotcha. So it's simple. It's the app kind of helps you do most of the work, right? It's just more or less like.
It makes it easy. The Airbnb app is pretty good.
Got you. So people listening, right? Airbnb app is easy, hands free. But so we talked about like just the process of uploading it, right? Then once you got it uploaded, talk to me about this upkeep, right? Because that's the bulk of the work, right? It's probably the upkeep, and we're in different times of COVID. So talk to me about the process of upkeep. What does that look like when somebody rents out a house? What is that process as soon as they leave? How do you get that house prepared for the next group of people?
So we do most of the cleaning. A lot of people hire people like professional cleaners.
Right.
But let's see, checkout is 11 and the next person comes in at 3. And what we did to make it a lot easier is we bought 2 sets of bedding.
Okay.
So we take it off and immediately put it back on.
Mm-hmm.
Waterproof mattress protectors are life changing. Or what were you about to say?
It's a game changer.
And pillow protectors.
And not even like for people that would like pee in bed, but some people get hot and sweat.
Got it.
So like you don't want a stained up, sweaty mattress. So people are like,
yeah,
ew.
Because my girl gonna look at it and she gonna be like, nah, we out.
Yeah. So that's a must.
Yeah, and I'm super particular and like almost a clean freak. So I just clean our house like I would want it to look if I went to an Airbnb.
Gotcha. So you do most of the, we can say that you do most of the, Hannah does most of the cleaning, or?
Michael he was really good at getting everything set up, and like I'm really bad with technology. So if we give a discount to someone, he's really good at discounting and like working in the app.
Gotcha.
And I would say that my job is to clean. I mean, Michael helps me a lot, but to clean and like the communication, like when they're coming, you have to give them like the code to our door and kind of go over our house rules and just make them feel at home.
Gotcha. What are y'all rules for y'all's home? Because some people like Airbnb and some people don't like Airbnb because of like the rules or whatever. But for most people, I mean, it's like a hotel, I would assume. You know what I'm saying? The rules. What are some of the things that you guys was different? But why would somebody want to come to your Airbnb versus a hotel?
Right. We only have like 3 rules. One is no smoking inside.
Okay.
And if you bring a dog or a pet, they can't be on our furniture.
Gotcha.
But that
I think that's it.
Yeah, we don't have. There's not many like.
And I think it's like treat your home like you would want yours to be treated.
Yeah.
Or treat our home.
Nothing too specific.
Something passive aggressive.
Yeah. Passive aggressive. Okay.
But another big part is pets. We've had a lot of people are like, man, we couldn't find an Airbnb that allowed pets. Like, thank you for letting pets live here.
So that's key.
It is. But on the flip side of that, we've had dogs come in here and put dog hair everywhere. And we spent just like one day we washed the sheets and we had the sheet laid up on the kitchen table. Yeah. Like taking the lint roller
after
we washed it, trying to get the dog hair off. Wow. So like there's
pros like and cons.
Yeah.
You get more bookings, but those 2 dogs that shed, it's rough.
And we have carpet on our stairs, so we have to vacuum that real good.
So, and that wasn't originally a house rule of no dogs on furniture, but
that one black dog that was here changed it for us.
We immediately changed that rule.
How do y'all know if somebody puts if the dog's been on the furniture, and then how do you go about charge? Do you just secretly charge them on the app like, hey?
Well, we haven't been charging them extra, but they recently put a feature in that you could charge like $30 a day for a pet.
Or whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, or whatever.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
So we put that on there just because it is more work.
Cleaning.
Yeah. But
so it seems like we appreciate the sauce. Like we looking for the sauce. Like 4,000, for October, that's good, and I'm pretty sure like you have months where it's continued. So tell me, are there any strategies on how to book, or is it just really just putting your home up there and then just? I know we talked about the dog, right? That's pets. That's a lenient rule in which a lot of people nowadays have pets and they don't want to pay for sitters, right? It's better to just bring them with you. So that's a key to like getting more people to book with you. Is there any other strategies or anything that you guys do personally, to create more bookings, or how do you give them that experience, that good experience?
I would say you like our house could honestly go for like 140, 150 a night.
Mhm.
We have it at 120 because like when you first start out and you don't have like a lot of reviews, people see a lower price and like, okay, we'll book there.
Yeah.
And so then you come in and like you really make them feel at home. Like we give them cinnamon rolls and coffee, and
You just want to make people that come into the house feel like they're more than a guest, like they're more like family in your house. That's Hannah writes them a note every time. We have a little map, which I don't know where it's at right now. We have like a map, and people that come stay pin where they're from.
Oh, that's
So our map
cool.
was completely full.
and I always ask them. I know it doesn't really matter. They have to book after I ask them this, but I always ask them while they're coming. And if they like tell me hiking, I give them all the cool hiking trails, when to go when it's busy. Like just make it personal.
Yeah.
But a key to getting people to book initially, I think, starts with good pictures.
Mhm.
Because if you go look at the Airbnbs around where we are,
Mhm.
we have some of the best pictures of our house on there.
Got it.
So I think like you're scrolling through all the houses in the area, you're like, man, that house is bright. It's clean. It looks nice. Like it looks inviting. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay there, even though they only have one review,
Right.
and another house might have 10 or 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So like I think the pictures, I think that is
A
the
lower
biggest.
price and good pictures.
Is what.
Well, y'all changing the game, man. Changing the game. So let me ask you this: the goal is appreciate all that that juice that y'all gave us. So the goal is this, right? We got people that watch and they're like, I want to create some type of passive income. Obviously, we could say Airbnb is a good way to do that. If you guys didn't have your parents nearby, would y'all still do Airbnb? Is Airbnb still in the picture? And how would you do it with not having family so close by that you can, you know what I'm saying, that you can kind of just hop in and stay with them for a while?
So I think it was. I think it would be a plan of ours. We talked about even before we got married and bought our house that eventually that's something we'd like to do. But I think if we weren't staying with her parents, that we would, and we still want Airbnb. And I think a really good way to go about it is finding an apartment. If you can find an apartment, even if it's not the best apartment, and you can afford to pay rent on the apartment, even if people don't come book, you can pay your mortgage and your rent.
Gotcha.
Like especially at the beginning, trying to get people to come. Like I think that's what we would have done. Found like a cheap apartment, or maybe even we live in the country, so maybe even like a trailer in a trailer park for like $700 a month. We would make less money, but it'd still be worth it. So I think that's a good way to go about it. I think.
And one of my dreams, you might laugh at me, Armand, but one of my dreams is to live like around poor people. Like I want to live in a trailer park and like share the gospel with them and just like live life with them. So
that's
my dream was
North Greenville all in you. We love
this. Yeah, that is. And I said,
we love
I'm not living in a trailer park. I'm not doing it. And that's why we're not there.
I can tell you.
I do think if we would either do a shared space, which I think the price of our Airbnb would go significantly down because it's just an inconvenience to those guests. Either a shared space, or if you do like the apartment, even if it's like kind of a ratchet apartment, you get like a single person who is trying to get out of debt and half the price for them.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, I mean, we passing around opportunities, right? So people thinking outside the box. I saw on a podcast, I was watching this guy. His name is like him 500. But the thing about it was he does credit repair, right? And he shows people how to fix their credit and how to use credit, to use their credit as a ways of income, right? So like I worked so hard to get my credit. I got all these limits. I can give you a credit line. You know what I'm saying? And it help you boost your credit, but he's making some type of, I ain't got the course yet, so I can't really talk about it. But he was saying the reason why people, it's more of a mindset on how people think about money, right? People feel like they can't make extra money because they don't have this, and this, but it's like, think of outside of the box ways that you can create that, right? Some people aren't willing to live in a trailer and then rent out their home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if that's not what you're willing to do, then don't worry about it. But if you're a person that can sacrifice short term for a long term vision, then okay, it makes sense, right? And I think sometimes it doesn't have to be in this, but I think people do sacrifice short term things, right? They want to look a certain way, they want to feel a certain way short term versus doing something that makes them a little uncomfortable, something that they don't like, something that people may be like, why are you renting out your house? That's stupid, right?
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? That's stupid. But long term is like, you guys can, have more, you have the opportunity to have more time. You can save more money. You're putting bigger chunks of money away as far as saving. So it's just like, it's cliche, but it's like live like other, do the things that other people want to live like people, ways that people can't, right? And I think you guys are proven examples of being able to do that, right? Not worrying about what people say, or not worrying about, the predicament that we're in, right? Which is a serious predicament. And I'm pretty sure that you guys have processes in place to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and safe. But it's just like, okay, we can sacrifice giving away our 3-bedroom home and go crash with our parents, maybe sleep on the couch a couple of nights to make this type of money. You know what I'm saying? And some people aren't willing to do that. And you just gotta choose what side of the spectrum you're on. Not saying you can't, not saying you can. You have to give up the, go. You don't have to. Some people don't have to live in a trailer to have an extra, house to Airbnb. But if you don't have the monetary money at that point in time, there's a way. Like if your goal is to get into that type of passive income, there's a way to do it. And you guys are showing that, you show and you're thinking outside the box of how you're able to do that. So kudos to you. Like I said, me and Maya, we want to get into, well, she wants to be a real estate, right? But I want to get into the passive income side of it, as far as like, let's get some properties, let's rent them out, do that type of stuff. I'm one of those people that I don't think I could live in a trailer to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me, right? I talk about people, and I think it's okay for me to be honest with myself. And that's not what I want to do. I think, but what I do want to do is, save enough money to get like, if I could get like a secondary home, right? Save enough money and do that. But enough about me. Let's get back to you guys. So the Airbnb. So we appreciate what we talked about. We talked about how to get it on there. We talked about the opportunity that you can make per month with that passive income. What do you guys do with your free time? Now that you are passively every month. But don't get, you guys are booked pretty much every month, right? Or do y'all have downtime?
No, so we have one guy. He's big time at a factory here. He moved here from Switzerland. Mm-hmm. He booked our house on Airbnb from January through March. Wow. So he's booked out. So we're 100% booked out until March with him, and he might book April for us too. So we live up in the mountains, so it's cold. So people probably wouldn't come stay at our house. Yeah. So having him here every day, paying for it every night, it's been a blessing, really. And we don't have to come clean it.
Yeah, I mean, we started in October, so we don't know what like the cold season here would look like. Gotcha. So, I mean, I really don't think we lost any on bookings.
Yeah, we're in May. We got about half the month in May already booked. About half the month in June already booked.
So y'all just,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So yeah,
y'all don't even want to. Y'all even want to. I don't even think y'all were even thinking about this. It's just like,
no,
let's do it. And then you just walk into it. It's like, oh my god,
it's been crazy. It's really allowed me to step back from a job I hated, that factory job. Yeah, and like find a job, not just a job to clock in and go make a little bit of money, but like a job that I love to do. Yeah, and it's allowed me to step back and figure that out. Where she still works full time, mm-hmm. And it just allowed me to. I mean, I do all kind of stuff. Like I go to football games and I'm going to Austin, Texas
He just leave you
next
hanging,
month.
don't he, Hannah? He leave you hanging.
No, she's going with me
I'm
this
going with
week.
him this weekend.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
good.
I'm going to Austin, Texas next month with some friends.
You gotta hit me up.
I'm gonna hit you up. I already told you
If
about
I
it.
need some food places, let me know because I'm plugged in out there in Austin. Man.
Yeah, we're going out there, and then the first week of March we're going to Florida. So it's really allowed, like
Travel.
Yeah, it's really allowed us to travel. We love it. Like, we went to New York in December. We spent a weekend up there. That was a lot of fun. So it's like
spent way too much money on Hamilton tickets.
Yeah,
I mean, y'all got to do something that most people would. You know, some people. I don't even like Hamilton, right? I don't. You can bash me all you want, but I think it's a great trip. Like if I could get tickets, I would take Maya because she goes up for Hamilton. Like
if she'll
take a weekend.
Amazing.
She'll take a weekend and just watch Hamilton. Like when it came on like Disney, she was like, "No, I'm watching Hamilton." I'm like, "Aren't you getting tired of hearing this? Like they just sing it." And she's like, "No, it's more than that. It's more
than that." When it came out, we watched it all the time.
I got you. So, do y'all have plans on doing more buildings, AirBNB?
Yeah, so I think the next goal is to get a house of our own, like another house, probably just a small house just for us, and then get another one after, and then just grow it from there. But we're hoping to be able to buy a house this summer.
Yeah,
save us some money, put a down payment down. That's the goal. So hopefully by June or July, we'll have another house that we'll be able to move out of her parents' house.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is, but it is crazy actually. But we make it work.
To think about now, to think about just your journey to where you are now. You know, it's crazy just to see, and it's just like no rhyme or reason. Like, and it's people that really put, and the thing about it is people that put focus into doing things like this, and they can't make it happen. Like, it doesn't work out. Yeah. But, and I'm not saying you guys didn't put the focus in, but like you said, it was just like, well, let's do Airbnb. And it was like, all right, cool, whatever. The next day, and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how God works and God provides favor, you know, in your life, even when you don't even think about it, right? You never thought that you would make this type of money doing this, right? But it's been a blessing for you, and it's giving you the opportunity to do so. And I think a lot of people need to hear this, so to get them to start thinking. They don't have to do it exactly how you do it, but start thinking about ways that they can do it and how it can benefit them. And I think that's the best part about it. So kudos to y'all, man. If y'all want to go in business together, I'd love to partner up, maybe do a little Airbnb, little situation.
We need you because we both hate conflict. So, like, if
y'all need security, okay, man. Security.
So we'll run the Airbnb, and you send the messages that may cause conflict to the.
I got y'all.
We'll just save up some money, and we'll go in on a house together.
Man, we need to do something, man. We've been talking about this for years, but
we have, I used to think like, that is out of reach. Like, like we'll never own another house.
Yeah.
But like now that we're doing it, even though we still own one house, like the opportunity is like, it is there.
You can see it. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and going in with people within business, man. That's how you
multiply. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can't be stingy. Like some people like, nah, I want to do it by myself. But when you become a team and you take less responsibility, right? You get help from all sides, you know, with responsible people, it does make your life a lot easier, and you can make a lot more money because it just becomes easier.
And then there's more money between us.
Right.
Like us together have more money than just us two. So and we could buy another house or maybe a better house or in a better spot.
And y'all gonna employ people, like y'all can hire your cleaning crew, you know what I'm saying? People that like you got little cousins like, look, you can come work for us.
Just we get a few houses, that's the move. We try to get a cleaning crew, and so we don't have to do anything. We just collect the money.
Yeah. I love it. So let's talk about this $40,000 worth of debt. Like, that's a lot of money, bro. What like, how did y'all, I mean, what was obviously the idea was we want to get rid of this debt, but who came up with the idea of like, let's try Dave Ramsey? And
So go ahead.
what was that? What was that like?
So sorry, I got a notification on the laptop.
Do your thing, bro. AirBNB probably.
No, it's a FaceTime from a friend. Anyway, so I guess what really started, I'd never heard of him.
Okay.
Until me and her got engaged, and her dad is like really good with finances. Like he's on it. He told us, I think it was that night.
Talk to you.
It was just me. He talked to me and was like, because I had debt. I just bought a car.
Mm-hmm.
I had student loan debt, and then her engagement ring.
Gotcha.
You know, but to me, like that was normal. Like all that stuff was normal to have.
Right.
Literally never heard Dave Ramsey. He sat me down and was like, finances is the most cause for people to get divorced. He said, so you want to get ahead of that and really take control of it. And I'm like, he's talking about Dave Ramsey and how it works. And I'm like, cool. Next day, I look him up on YouTube and I watch videos and videos and videos of him just talking how to do it and what to do.
Baby steps. The
baby steps. And I'm like, hey, we should do this. But we weren't married yet, so our finances weren't combined. And I had all the debt.
And I was already working it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had.
So Hannah was already working. She had no debt. So
you
were the problem child.
Yeah, she had a car.
I paid off a $10,000 car, my Mini Cooper.
Not the C-Class? The Mini Cooper. What is it? Well, I don't even know what it was. But Mini Cooper.
You remember that thing?
We know we're not gonna. Yeah. Anyway, so you got what I was gonna say is, Mike, you were the problem. So
yeah. So I'm like cool. Like so pretty much. So that was in February. End of February, I finished paying off her engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
The basics of Dave Ramsey is like the first step is save $1,000 and then pay off your debt from there. So pretty much I didn't take it all the way down to 1,000, but I pretty much emptied my bank account. Not pretty much. I put a good chunk towards Hannah's ring, paid it off the next couple weeks, and then started working on my car, which I owed about $15K on my car. So that was in February. I paid it off right before we got married, which we got married in December. So I paid off that 15.
So let's give them time frames, right? So we're talking about February and December the same year.
Yeah. So we're probably in the February, April. We're probably in April now when I started paying off my car aggressively. April. This was 2019.
Got you.
So from April 2019 to December 2019, I started saving money, not spending it crazy. Paid off the $15,000 for my car. So I finished that off. Then we get married, and then the only debt we had left was, besides our house, because we already had our house, was $20,000 of my student loans. Mm-hmm. And this was going in 2020, and COVID happened in 2020.
Yeah.
So, our plan, but at the start of 2020, our plan was when we first got married, knock out the car, start saving, and then that's what I mean. Sorry, knock out the student loans and then go from there. Mm-hmm. So we start going after it, and then I get laid off from my job in COVID. Yeah. I was at Waffle House then, got laid off. And we were like, man, this is like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like they weren't like this is before we knew about they were paying us unemployment and all this stuff. Gotcha. So we just saved all of our money. I went back to work. I got laid off in March. Went back to work towards the end of May.
Yeah.
And then we got right back to it. We put because we had saved the stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Because that was still a goal, and we couldn't spend money anyway because there's nothing to do.
And our taxes, we put towards our debt.
Yeah, so we saved it. We saved our taxes, all the stimulus checks, and my unemployment, and I guess the money she was making too, because she was still working from home.
Right.
We just saved it all. I went back to work. Money was flowing. Things were looking better financially. Like I had my job back. Mm-hmm. We just put a chunk towards it. I don't remember how much we put towards it. And then we ended up paying. We finished it off in August 2020. Paying off my student loans. So, so that's how. So it took us from January to August to pay off our student loans. My student loans.
So, okay, when you talk about it's a lot of places we can go with this, right? So, people hear that you paid certain things off in a certain time frame. So, you got February to December, you paid off a $15,000 car aggressively. What does aggressive like? What does it take? What do you mean by aggressively? Like, what was the process, or what were some of the things that you were like? Were there rules in place like we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do this, and then how much were you aggressively saving to pay it off so quickly?
So, so this is where I started to disagree with Dave Ramsey. He wants you to not have a life while you're working it, and I don't think that's because we're not promised tomorrow. I don't think that's okay.
Gotcha.
So we were still like we didn't do as much things as we like to. Like we didn't go out to eat at nice restaurants as much as we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't going to the movies and spending all kind of money like we wanted to. We're still enjoying our lives,
Right.
But if we could save money, we would have. We saved money where we could,
Gotcha.
and we saved a lot of money not going out to eat and stuff. And so literally, I was making money like get a paycheck, boom, $1,000 from the paycheck straight to the car. Like I have to make sure I have enough for my bills and stuff. But like about every paycheck, I was probably putting.
When I paid my car off aggressively, I put half my paycheck to my car.
Yeah.
So it makes you disciplined with the amount of money you have left.
Yeah. You can't splurge as much.
So I don't. It works for me because if I'm like, oh, I'll just put whatever I have left over to my car, that could be like $10.
Got it.
But that's first, like in your head, like I have to pay this car off, and that's the first thing I'm doing. Then like you do that first, then you're like, oh, I got to figure this other half out of my paycheck.
Got it. So
and then I'm super competitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was paying my car off and Michael's student loans, like we put this amount towards it, and we have this much left over. But I'm like, what's the minimum I could spend on things I enjoy, and still put more of that money towards his car or my car or whatever.
It's really a mindset.
I'm competitive.
It's like let me not buy this brand new pair of shoes,
mm-hmm.
right? Or let me not go buy this brand new polo. Let me go buy a polo at Goodwill,
right?
Or do stuff like that, and it really like saving money really allowed us to. I mean, it's put us where we are, paying off all that off early, so we don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
No car payment is nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much, what I'm hearing is just every check, like the priority was paying off the debt, right? And everything else came last. And you would take X amount of dollars. Does it work? And this is another question. Does it work better with combined incomes? Does it work better with individual income? Let's just say somebody's single and they want to pay off aggressively some stuff. Could someone single be able to do that? You know what I'm saying? Especially like if they're living on their own, they got rent, they still got their car payment, still got a grocery. Can someone single make this happen, or would it take a little bit longer?
Might take longer, but they can definitely make it happen. I think single people are more disciplined because, like me and Michael, want to do things together all the time. But like a single person, like I feel like they're more. I'm just speaking for my friends, also.
Yeah.
Like they're more like motivated, and they don't have another person to like do stupid stuff with.
And just because you're single, like you can still like save money where you can, like even at the grocery store, instead of buying like let's say you don't buy any beer, like you want to go get you a 12-pack of Corona.
Mm-hmm.
Don't buy the 12-pack of Corona. That's like $15 right there, and just cut like different things out, like eat cheaper.
Yeah.
Like Big Dave Ramsey thing is eat rice and beans all the time.
Gotcha.
We weren't doing it that extreme.
Just go to Aldi.
Yeah, just instead of shopping at Eagles, go to Aldi.
Gotcha. So just changing little minute things, and then the money that you would have spent on this, you just throw it towards the car, or throw it towards the 20,000 of student loan debt. Okay, got you. So obviously you guys did this without really applying the Dave Ramsey. Like you listened to the principles behind what he was saying, but you wasn't doing it to the T. So it gives people hope where you don't have to eat ramen noodles every day. to do this. You can do this basically just by being more disciplined. I think everything good that people, anything good that people do in life, the whole premise or the whole thing behind it is discipline. And that's a concept that is crazy. It's very simple, but it's very hard for a lot of people. Like, you want to lose weight, okay? Well, work out every day. But the discipline of, I'm kind of sore, I don't really feel like going today, I need a rest. That little decision is a trickle effect of multiple days of not going to work out. What helped you guys be so disciplined? Was it you two holding each other accountable, or was it just, personally, you just like Hannah said, I'm competitive. I'm like, if we got a goal, let's get this done and knock it out.
Yeah, I think one thing is we're both competitive. Second, we have the same financial goals.
Okay.
And we know what it takes to get there. Third, Michael's cousin that recently passed away, he had a quote that, like, it stuck in my mind, and it's, you can make easy choices every day that make your life hard, or hard choices every day that make your life easy. And so, like, I think you just daily have to choose, like, yes, doing whatever I want to with my money is easy, but in 10 years, our life's going to be hard. We're still going to be working at the same speed. Or I can save money and go to a cheap grocery store, and, like, that's a hard decision in the moment, but 10 years down the road, like, we can shop at Ingles if we want.
Yeah. We do what we want, yeah.
The same.
And something like, if you were working out, like, it's easy not to work out.
Yeah.
But but it makes your life hard, as in you're doing heart disease, you'll be overweight, whatever. Yeah. But it's hard to work out every day. But if you work out every day, it makes your life easier because you'll be healthy.
Got it. That's light bulb. That's crazy. So cliche, right? Like, we literally talked about it with the Airbnb. Is like live how people don't want to live to, now to, and later you're living the life that everybody wants to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy that it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally got the life hack. We just went over the life hack, and it's that simple, but it's also that hard. Like,
yeah,
it blows my mind. Like,
yeah,
because
you gotta make the decision.
Yeah, it's like the choices you make are so impactful, and it's just like, every time, I'm glad I had this conversation, because now I'm like, I gotta do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to,
I know, I should probably go work out tomorrow.
Yeah, like, because I worked out the day before. I worked out yesterday, but then the day I was like, I'm a little tired. Let me kind of warm up. I didn't eat as much today, so I'm like, I'm good. I ain't eat nothing bad. I had a little salmon. That was it.
Salmon?
Okay. Well, salmon. I'm sorry. My gets from me all the time. Salmon.
I'm not trying to correct you.
It's okay. I get it. Salmon. But yeah, man, like, and hopefully, like I said, I really wanted to talk to you guys because you guys have done two extreme things that most people want to do, right? Airbnb, making some type of passive income while still working, but then you guys had that freedom and time. Number two is paying off a significant, amounts of debt, which people, that's the biggest thing for most, Americans, right? That live in the United States, is like, they still carry around this debt, but people don't know is. And I think you have to be in a perfect situation, right? It definitely is situational. If you don't make enough money to be able to put that type of money back, I can see how it is very hard. But if you're in a situation where you have a decent job and you're doing okay, being more disciplined in how you spend money, and long term where you see yourself, I think we all have the opportunity to be able to do that. And I think for the kids, for people that's getting out of school, getting ready to go full time, I think listening to you guys talk, it can make them feel a lot easier. Like, I can do this, right? I can sacrifice a few things that I want to do now to later. I don't have to think about. I can just do. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta do better, man. Golly.
You can do it, man. Like I said, it starts with the mindset.
Yeah, man.
I feel like anyone can make money. Like, I'm a little bit of a workaholic. So I dog sit, I babysit, I clean random houses sometimes.
Yeah.
So there is ways to make money. You just have to gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. Figure it out.
Go babysit. Babysitting's hard for guys, but if you're a girl, go babysit. Put ads on Craigslist. I babysit $15 an hour.
Background check attached.
Yeah, and or however,
Gotcha.
just as a mindset, just start at it.
Well, we appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys. I know it's been a little long conversation, but I hope it was fun for you. It was definitely fun for me, just gaining some insight on what you guys, got going on, and we appreciate it. We appreciate the advice. We all today. That's the motto for the day. Like life hack accomplished. So. It starts with small steps, right? I watched I Am Athlete, the podcast, and they had this NASCAR driver, Corey. I forgot his name. His name was Corey, but he was dealing with psychologically. He was at a place like, right, you know how you dream of, like, let's just say we wanted to go to the NFL, like we dreamed of going to the NFL or maybe being an Olympic volleyball player, and you imagine yourself in your career, but the pressure of the performance, the pressure of maybe not performing as well as you want, the pressure of you could lose your job, right, that weighing on you, and it takes the fun out of the job. And that's kind of what happened to him, but with NASCAR, and he had to go to a sports psychologist, and he was talking about how with the sports psychologists, they were talking about the concept of collecting pennies or stacking pennies. And what the pennies represent is small goals that make up a bigger picture. So with him, he was like, not cussing on the headphones like during the race, coming in early, with the pit crew, but just little small things that you could do to give you the joy of, why you even started. And every time you do it, you just collect the pennies, stack the pennies. So now you have a tangible way of seeing, like, I've accomplished a lot today. I may not have won a race, I may have finished dead last, but during the process, I did accomplish some goals, and it creates that fire and hunger to keep going. So I'll just leave people with that and just say, hey, all of us work on just stacking pennies. That's not my saying. I think that's probably a trademark, but we could just say stacking quarters. But stacking pennies, and just finding little small things that we can do. And I think that's where me personally, that's where I would have to start, is like, what are some small things I can do to just, build towards the bigger goal. And that's it. But appreciate you. I love you guys over here, man. We love you. We wish nothing but the best for you. Nothing but success. I try to pray for all my friends. Just a generic overall prayer. Just keeping everybody healthy, safe, and just happy. I think mental where you are mentally is super important nowadays. And so I hope everybody's just in a good place, and you guys can continue to stay in a good place. The last thing I do have to ask is, I need a suggestion. The way the podcast goes is we have to keep this network of information going. So I need you guys to give me a recommendation of somebody I should sit down with that you guys think is super dope, has a lot of great things going for themselves, somebody that wouldn't mind hopping on a podcast like this. It might have some information to share. I'll take a recommendation from each of you.
Like maybe someone we know that you might not know.
It doesn't matter. It could be somebody I know, preferably somebody I don't know. It could be somebody I know too, right? It could be somebody I know. I just want somebody, whoever you think is cool.
Dude, that's
My mom started a very successful business.
We need to talk to her.
She doesn't like to talk on the camera though.
She doesn't.
My dad would be a good one.
Maybe her dad. She got laid. Quick story. She got laid off from COVID from her job, and they had to pay their taxes. They don't get tax return back. They end up paying, and they were like, "Man, how are we gonna do this?" And she started making cinnamon rolls, and it boomed. So
it's something with y'all's family, like boom. No, you can just boom.
Maybe he'd get on here.
I also have a friend that she's single, and like really does. I wouldn't say makes a lot of money, and she worked the Dave Ramsey plan like to the T, and she just bought her house.
Oh wow!
But like she put a down payment towards it. She would be really cool to talk to.
Okay.
But she's like, Dave Ramsey all the way.
Gotcha. Well, that's something that you can do. If you can make the connection, just maybe say, hey, I got a friend, a brother that would love to sit down with you, talk to you, and, you know, maybe share your story a little bit. Maybe it could help somebody else. And if you could do that, maybe you could send me over like their Instagram or telephone number. I can reach out just for saying like, hey, I sat down with Hannah and Mike. They said you'd be great to be on the show. Did you mind? And if they say, yeah, cool, we'll get it done. If no, it's no worries. But I would love to get Mom Dukes on here. She doesn't even have to be on the camera. We could really just have a phone conversation of just like her explaining like what happened. But if she's not comfortable, of course, I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But I think that is super great that, you know, you take a passion and it becomes your life source. So of how you know, feed your family. But no pun intended. But
They said the intro was so hard.
thank you again. I'm gonna let y'all go. I know I've been trying to get y'all off for like 10 minutes now, but thank you. Love you. Love you guys. See ya.
Nothing gonna stop us now. We here. We not. And we back. They say, Peanut, you so cold. I want to thank you, all the bosses listening to Big Boss Talk, the people listening and watching.